Black yo magic, that black yo magic, that black yo magic, that black yo magic.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Glow and I'm back at it again. You already know what's going on when y'all see me on this couch. You already know what's about to happen, what's about to go down when you see me on this couch. It's story time. I seem to really enjoy my story time, so I'm trying to like come out and like give you guys more, but without sharing too much of my life. There's certain things that I can't tell you guys, you know. There's certain thing that goes on that I can't tell y'all yet. Like I literally have to wait like 3-4 years before I tell you these things. I can't just be spilling tea, then I'm gonna look like the bitch that just be telling. I don't kiss and tell, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna need y'all to relax. So today's story time is gonna be about my crazy neighbor. Thank God this man doesn't live in my building anymore. He actually moved last year. I don't even know when he moved. This nigga just disappeared. Thank God for that. But without any further ado, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna take me a minute to tell this story, so let's go ahead and get you a bottle of water, some snacks, some tea, whatever you need. Sit down and let's get started. It was New Year's of 2019, so it was about to be 2020. One of my friends, Scott, invited me to his homeboy's house because they was having like a little kickback for people that didn't end up going home for the holiday. They was having like a little party. We was gonna do fireworks and like, you know, food and drinks, all that good vibe, typical New Year's Eve turn up. So I went to the party, we had drinks, we turned up. I got drunk. When I say I got drunk, I mean, what do you expect? It's New Year's Eve. You're supposed to get fucked up before the New Year's, so I got fucked up. Guys, I wasn't like pissy drunk, like blacked out drunk, but I was pretty lit. Like, you know, I knew I was lit. I ended up leaving that party around like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I Ubered home and I was like walking to my apartment door. Mind you, when I moved in, I never met any of my neighbors. This is like, I'm about to go knocking on your door like, hi, I'm Glow, your new neighbors, like, nice to meet you. That's kind of fucking creepy. Like, I don't even like my neighbors knowing me. Honestly, when I was in Maryland, I never met my neighbors, didn't know them, everybody minded business. Like, we don't do that. Stay over there, I stay over here. It is what it is. But so I'm walking down the hallway or whatever, and like get to my door and I try to like open the door and I hear somebody talking to me. So I turn around and it's my neighbor. He came out of his door. So he was like, oh, you the new neighbor? And I turn around and I see this little Asian dude. I see this little short Asian dude. He's like, oh, you my new neighbor? And I turn around, I was like, yeah, I live here. I just moved here like, you know, a couple weeks ago. Nice to meet you. He's like, oh, nice to meet you. And he started to like walk towards me. So I closed my door because I'm like, I close the door. He walks up to me and he's just like, oh, you know the dude that used to live in your apartment, he used to sell crack, he used to sell drugs and all that shit. And I was just like, what? Mind you, I'm drunk, so I find everything entertaining. One thing about me, when I'm lit, I'm probably like the friendliest girl on earth. Like, I'm just so nice. I just want to like buy everybody drinks, buy everybody food, talk to everybody, make so much friends. Because like sober Armanda is not friendly at all. Like, I barely talk. I'm very like reserved. I'm very like observant. So he started spilling the tea on the dude that used to live in my apartment. And I'm just like, damn, that's crazy. And he's like, oh, what's your name? And I'm like, Glow. And he's like, oh, nice to meet you. Like, you know, I live right here. What are you doing? I told him I was in marketing and he's like, oh, I do music and I'm a rapper and sometimes I be doing shows down the street right here, all this shit. He's like, my music is really good. Do you want to hear it? Of course. Yeah, let me listen to it. Like, where is that? And he's like, you want to go back to my apartment and I'll play it for you? I'm just thinking to myself, is that a good idea? It might not be a good idea. Like, I do not know this man. But I was like, sure, hell yeah. Like, come on, let's go. Girl. I just agreed to go to this man's house and I don't even know him. So I'm like, sure, yeah, let's go. I'm down. So we walked to his door, whatever. My nosy, as I get to looking around, like, I'm like, what the fuck going on in here? It was just so much going on in that apartment. It was so messy. So I just sat my ass right here on the bed because he ain't had no chairs. He's like, yeah, I'm about to play my new stuff. And, you know, I've been rapping for like 3 years. And I'm about to get signed and all this shit. And I was just like, oh, that is so good. Like, you know. And first of all, like, it was real dark in there. Sir, turn the light on. So I was like, okay, you turn like the kitchen light on or something. He's like, oh, my bad. I like to be in the dark. I like to be in the dark. It just helps me be more creative. And I was like, yeah, me too. But, you know, I'm a little like lit right now, so I need some lights. So he's like, okay. So he turned the lights on. He goes to his computer and he gets to like playing his little songs and stuff. Girl, why are these songs he was playing? He was like rapping in English with his little accent. This man was in there throwing all types of niggas in the song. He was throwing all types of niggas in there. So I'm listening. I'm like, He playing the song, just listening. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I hear the nigga, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what did he just say there? And it just kept going, niggas this and nigga that. So I'm sitting here like, Now I'm like a little bit uncomfortable. Like I want to say something, but then I start thinking, I'm like, you're drunk, you're in somebody's house that you don't know. It's messy as hell in here. This man is playing you songs and throwing all types of niggas in there. Obviously, he doesn't care about you being black. He's like, do you like it? Do you like it? I'm like, yeah, I like it. It's nice. Oh my God, like you're so good. He's like, thank you. That means a lot. So he sat like in front of me on this little box thingy. So he got to talking to me and he's just like, yeah, I'm so glad that you like my music and stuff. He's like, I'm glad you like it and everything. And he asked me, he's like, do you smoke? And I'm like, no, I don't smoke. And he's like, you drink? And I'm like, yeah, I drink. And he's like, oh, let me give you some liquor. So he goes in the kitchen, pulls out like this weird clear bottle, whatever, pours me, I guess, the liquor in the cup or whatever, and he brings it to me. He's like, don't know what it is. It wasn't no Casamigos. It wasn't no 42. It wasn't no Patron. I didn't know what the hell this drink was. Shit just started to get sketchy with how he was acting. So I'm like, okay, Amanda, now we gotta snap out of this drunkenness because you just did some dumbass shit. So I'm gonna need you to snap out of it. So I snapped out of it a little bit. I was still kind of like, you know, woozy. So I get the drink and at this point I'm acting like I'm fucked up. I'm like, I really don't even want to drink no more. I'm just like so drunk. I drank all night. I can't even drink this right now. He's just like, oh, it's not really a lot of liquor. You could just sip a little bit. He's like, it's Korean liquor. Just taste a little bit. Just taste a little bit. And I'm like, Korean liquor? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like so drunk. Like if I even smell it, like I'm gonna throw up. Like I'm gonna throw up. I can't even drink this right now. But thank you though. Like, let me see the bottle. I'm probably gonna order on Amazon and just try it like later when I get in a house. I'm gonna order my own bottle because it looks so good. I don't know what type of liquor that was. I ain't never seen this liquor a day in my life. And you want to give me some shit I don't even know in a cup and then you're going to pour it for me in the kitchen? He's like, oh, okay. So I put the drink down on the table and he comes back. He's like, oh, I also have edibles, edible candy and all this stuff. You ever try edibles? And I'm like, no, I don't smoke. I don't do anything. I don't even want to try nothing right now. Like, I'm good. And he's like, okay. So he sits on a box next to me. So he gets to talking to me about like how his family don't believe in him. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad you like my music because my family don't support me. They don't want me to be a rapper. He's talking about how like his father disowned him because he wants to be a rapper and he's just like a bad kid and all this stuff. How they don't fuck with him. They don't send him money for like rent and all that. Like he lives with his sister and his brother, which explained why it was stuff everywhere. It was like a bed in the living room and I'm pretty sure like it was a 1-bedroom. So his parents haven't talked to him in like months and all that just because of what he wants to do. And I'm like, really? Oh, that is so crazy. Okay, you're gonna be great. You just have to keep doing what you do and just like when it all pays off, you can show them. I'm just telling this man everything he wants to hear. This man starts to cry. Like he was there like, yeah, like I be trying to tell them like I'm really good at this. I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna get signed. I'm gonna get money and all this shit. And I'm just like, oh my God, this man is crying. He's crying. Mind you, sometimes I do that. Like when I get too drunk, too lit, I might cry a little bit with my friends, but that's with my friends, with people I know. I don't know you, sir. Why are you crying to me? This man is nuts. So I just keep telling him what he wants to hear because at this point I don't want to piss him off. So me just telling him you're good at what you do, even though he wasn't, his music sucked. Okay, I didn't want to tell him that because I didn't want to die. And I'm like, oh, your family, forget them, just keep working on. He's like, yeah, you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, no. I honestly don't know why I said no, but it's just like a reflex because I'm used to saying no, so like I forgot to lie. So I was like, no, I don't have a boyfriend. But then I'm like, but I have an ex that I still like, you know, mess with like every now and then, but he's not my boyfriend, but he kind of is. And he's like, oh, you guys live together? And I'm like, yeah. He's just like, oh, well, you know, you're really pretty. Where are you from? I was like, oh, thank you. I'm from the DMV and I moved here. So he's like, oh yeah, like you're really pretty. Like I love your swag. I love the way you dress. I had like this Balenciaga sweater on, some leather pants and my McQueens and like this little Balenciaga bag. So he's like, yeah, I like your swag. I love the way you dress. This is how people in like Korea dress and whatever. This is my style. I like girls like you. Like girls that dress like you and look like you is like my type. Like I had a girlfriend. At this point he is rapping. Like I'm not even over exaggerating, like he is rapping. He's like, yeah, I had this girlfriend and we was together for like 2.5 years. And I was like, what happened with you and your girlfriend? He's like, man, she's a liar. I can't fuck with her no more. I actually have to go to court like in a few weeks because of some shit that she said I did, but I didn't even do it. She's lying. When he said that, that I sobered up so quick. Now I'm just like 100% sober. I'm just like, oh hell no, what the fuck did you do? He's like, yeah, actually you gotta go to court because of her, because she said I did something to her when I didn't even do it. She's a liar. Like, why would she do that to me? And I'm just sitting here like, oh my god. He's like, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it. Like, he just, I can't even like react the way that he was acting for y'all. I feel like I'm not even doing it justice. Like his movements and everything, the way he talked, he was just very weird, like very weird. So he just sitting, he was like, man, I don't really like when I talk about it, but she's a liar. I have to go to court. I can't work and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, but you could tell me my nosy ass, because I have to know. I have to know. I have to know. You are my neighbor. I'm in your house right now. At this point, I am scared. You just offered me some liquor, damn near forced me to drink this liquor, whatever the fuck was in there, and now you're telling me that you gotta go to court for something that you did to your ex-girlfriend. Obviously that makes you upset. He went from crying to like now he's agitated, and I'm just like, who sent you? Who sent you? It's always me. It's always me. Leave it up to me to put myself in situations that I don't need to be in. It's always me. So now I'm just like, oh shit. So now I'm sitting here and he's just like, oh, you're just so nice. I like talking to you. I'm like, oh yeah. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get out this house. I'm like, oh, I have to go home and open the door for my boyfriend or whatever, because he's gonna be coming home soon, and I have to open the door for him because he doesn't have a key. Mind you, at this time it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning now. He's just like, oh, okay, you sure? You could just hear him when he's walking. You could get up when he comes. And I'm just like, no, like I just want to go home and like change. And you know, like, now I'm like standing up and I'm like walking towards the door. He's walking to the door and he stands in front of the door as I'm trying to open the door. Like, he stands in front of the door. He's like, oh, you never gave me your Instagram. And I'm just standing there like, is this nigga really blocking the door? I was scared. I was scared. I was so scared. This man was blocking the door. I'm just like talking to myself, oh, let me get your Instagram, let me get your Instagram, let me get your Instagram, blocking the door. And I'm just like, oh my god. I did not want to give him my Instagram because I'm like, if he sees my Instagram, then he's definitely going to be obsessed with me. Like, I really can't do that. So I'm just like, oh, I don't really be on Instagram like that, but I could give you my number, because at least if he has my number, like, he could text me and I could just like block him. And that's only because he was blocking the door. Like, he was literally blocking the door. So like, he would not let me leave unless I give him my number on my Instagram. So I give him my number. And so I give him my number and I go to like, you know, move him to like open the door, and he just like, oh, let me call it real quick. So he calls it right in there to make sure I give him the right number. Well, I'm still in the apartment. I'm still by the door and he's calling it. And I'm just like, bro, luckily I didn't give him a fake number, because he would have finished with me in his house. I'm just like, oh my god. So he calls it right in there. Phone rings. I'm just like, why would you think I gave you a fake number? Like, we're friends. Here you go. Like, save my number. So, okay, beautiful. If you need anything, like, you know, you could call me. Da da da. And I'm just like, okay, bye. See you later. Like, yeah. Walked to my door. I made sure that I heard his door close before I opened mine. So when he closed the door and went in, I opened my door, went in and locked the door. Y'all, when I tell you I was scared, like, I'm telling the story, making it sound like it was funny, but y'all, it was so scary. Like, we all know Hollywood, like LA in general, is literally full of serial killers, weird ass people. Like, I was just scared. So as soon as I got in the house, I was just like, oh my god. I locked my door, locked my balcony, locked everything, went in a room, locked myself in a room. I was literally like tiptoeing around the house. I don't know why, but I was just tiptoeing, trying to be real quiet so he wouldn't hear me, because I'm pretty sure we share like an like the apartment wall. Like, so I went in the house, took a shower. So when I went to bed or whatever, he texted me. This man texted me. He texted me, yeah, like 5 minutes after I got in the house, he texted me. And he's like, oh, I literally still have the text. Like, I kept this thread just for this story time. Like, I knew one day I was going to have to do a story time on this because it was just crazy. So let me go ahead and find it. Okay. So this was January 1st at 5:52 in the morning. I'm gonna put it like on the screen. I'm gonna blur out his number, which I'm pretty sure is not his number anymore, but I'm gonna put it on the screen. So he was like, Glow, what's your IG? I didn't reply. Like, I was literally like in bed at that time when I seen it, and I seen it, I was like, oh my fucking god, like what? I literally just got home and you already texted me telling me some, what's your IG? Like, I'm not replying because you're not about to get my Instagram, so I didn't reply. But yeah, so that's the first incident when I first met him. So like 2 days later, on January 3rd, he texted me again and he was like, hey, haven't heard anything back from you, what's good? And I didn't reply. And then like a few minutes later, he texted me again. He was like, what's good? And I didn't reply. Yo, I was literally ducking this man. Like, when I would leave the house, I'll be so quiet. I would open the door like real quietly and just like run down the hallway. When I would have to like take the trash out, I would literally have to be so quiet. But yeah, on January 5th, I finally decided to text him back. So I'm like, okay, so he's my neighbor. I don't want him to like, you know, get mad and like do some crazy shit. So let me just try to keep it at a nice balance and kind of just like, you know, curve him and let him know we're not on that type of time. So on January 5th, I texted him back and I said, hey, I'm good, what's up? And he texted me back and he said, just missed your ass. You missed me. What are you missing? What are you missing? I'm not understanding. What is there to miss? And I put a question mark on it because what are you missing? I'm confused. And he said, what are you doing tonight? Just want to see you. I was in the house like, oh my god, like I cannot. I was just trying to be a good neighbor. Like I did not go over here looking for a boo. But then it's my fault for going to stranger's house that I don't even know. So I texted him back. I said, oh, sorry, I thought I mentioned I have a boyfriend. We can be cool neighbors though. He said no worries with a winky face. And he said, I'm trying to send you the music I was talking about pretty soon. And I was like, yeah, sure, send it over. Because I'm like, yeah, sure, send your music over. We could be friends. Like, man, I don't remember that. Ain't no problem. Send the music. So he liked it. And later on that night, he texted me again. He's like, you want to link up the Insta? I didn't reply because stop asking me for my Instagram. You're not getting my Instagram. Like, no. Literally a month after I met him. At that time, I was talking to this one guy. I was still kind of like uncomfortable with the whole situation. I just thought I'd come over, keep me company, spend a night or whatever because I don't feel safe. So the dude came over and I was just telling him about the situation, about my crazy neighbor. The next day I had an event to go to. So like I was getting ready for it or whatever, and my boo or whatever was in the living room chilling with one of his friends, whatever, and they ended up going on the balcony to smoke. So they're on the balcony smoking, I guess. I'm in a room doing my makeup, getting dressed, and out of nowhere I hear somebody knock on my front door. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm thinking it's a package. So I go to the door. I'm like in my robe or whatever. Open the door and it's my neighbor. I'm at the door like literally in my robe and I'm looking. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, they told me to come. They told me to come. And I'm like, who told you to come? He's like, your boyfriend on the balcony told me I could come smoke with them. And I was like, he said that? He's like, yeah. And I looked on the balcony and I'm just like, okay. Before I even got to say anything, this man just like damn near invited himself in. I just went in the room and I'm finishing my makeup. So at this point now I'm mad at my boo because I'm just like, why the fuck would you invite him over here after I just told him that I don't fuck with him? And I was texting my boo and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, why would you invite him over here when I just told you he makes me feel uncomfortable? I don't fuck with him. Like the only reason you was here is to make sure like, you know, no weird shit is going on, but then you're gonna invite him to my house. Like what the fuck? You don't even live here. Like what the fuck you think is going on? So I'm spazzing on him. He's like, whoa, I didn't invite him over here. And I was like, what? He's like, I didn't tell him to come over here. He was on the balcony. He seen us smoking. And I was just like, what? Well, tell him to leave. That's when I heard them talking on the balcony. He's like, oh, you gotta go, some shit like that. And that's when my neighbor left. I finished getting ready and I also left because I had to go to my event. I was just so irritated. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get home and argue with this nigga because he get me fucked up. Like, why would he do that? I went to my event, did what I had to do. I came back home. When I came back, first thing I said, I was like, why the fuck would you invite this nigga over here when I told you he makes me feel uncomfortable? Like, you don't live here. You don't pay no bills in here. You want to invite people to my house? He's like, I didn't invite him over here. He was on the balcony and he seen us smoking. He was just like, oh, what are y'all smoking? And I told him he was smoking weed and I was there. I don't know where he went back in his house. Next thing you know, I saw you open the door and he just came in. And I just like, what? He told me at the door that you told him that he could come in. He was literally like, your boyfriend said I could come smoke with him. Like, I didn't know what to say. I just let him in because I'm just like, okay, like what the fuck? So he's like, no, I didn't say that. He was like, when they were on the balcony, he was asking him like, are you Glow's boyfriend? And he's like, yeah, that's my girl, whatever. He's like, oh yeah, she told me about you. He's like, oh, okay, do you live here too? He was literally on the balcony like checking up on like my lives or whatever. He's like, oh yeah, are you Glow's boyfriend? Do you live here too? And he's like, yeah, that's my girl. Yeah, I stay here and stuff like that. And he's like, okay. He's like, okay, I'm just asking, you know, no disrespect. Me and her friends and stuff, we're good neighbors. And I'm just like, this man is weird. Why are you on the balcony? And he's like, after that, he told him to leave or whatever. So I literally texted my neighbor. I texted him and I said, which I will also put on the screen. So I texted him and I was like, don't show up to my house again. Now I'm pissed. Like, you really showed up to my house like a crazy ass person, like lying and shit. So I'm like, don't show up to my house again. He was like, I Glow. Yeah, cause you didn't want to argue with me, cause I was ready to go to the door and be like, square up. Because what you thought? Like, no. So that was that. After he said, "I Glow," we didn't talk for like probably like 2 weeks. So about like 2 weeks later, I had some friends over my house, my friend Scott, and we were just chilling, drinking wine. But my friend Scott wanted some weed, so he was asking me, "Anybody in your building sell weed or whatever?" And I knew that my neighbor, like, he doesn't sell weed, but he be knowing, like, he knows somebody in the building that sells weed, and he be having weed. So he kept bugging me and talking about how he wanted to smoke. You know how smokers be, like, they would just not leave you alone, like, until they smoke their blunts. I'm over here sipping my wine, but he kept bothering me about he wants to smoke. So I'm just like, okay, well, I have a neighbor that, you know, be having weed, and I'm pretty sure he knows somebody in here that sells weed, or he has some weed. So he's like, well, call him, like, I need some weed. So I'm just like, oh my god. So I texted my neighbor, okay. So I texted him and I was like, "You home? You got some weed?" He texted me back. He was like, "Yeah, but no weed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Didn't text back, left it at that, and it was what it was. So we just kept, like, you know, having a good time, and just me and Scott just chilling or whatever. And next thing you know, I hear a knock on my door. And I already knew it was him. I knew it was him because I just texted you 10 minutes ago and now you're on my door. And Scott goes to the door and open the door. I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And he just like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" I'm just like, "Nothing, we just chilling watching TV." And he's like, "What do you want weed? I thought you don't smoke." And my friend was like, "Oh my god, no, like, I need the weed or whatever. I'm looking for somebody. Do you know anybody that has weed?" But he was like, "Oh, I have this little blunt or whatever that we could hit." I'm just like, whatever. So he goes to get the blunt and he comes back in or whatever, and they're smoking on the balcony. And then after that, we were just like chilling the night and just like having shots or whatever. Gave him some liquor. We were just having shots, and after that I was just like, "Oh, you gotta go," and he left, and that was it for that night. So a month later, it was now March or whatever, I had some friends over and we were just in a house. We were just having girls time, listening to music, dancing, drinking. We was in here drunk. We was playing Uno. We was having a great girls time. I mean, like, we was having fun. Out of nowhere, I hear a knock on the door. So I go to the door and I open the door, and it's my neighbor again at my door. And I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And he's like, "Can you guys turn the music down a little bit? It's too loud. My sister is complaining in the room. She's trying to sleep. She gotta go to work, and she just keep complaining. So can you turn it down a little bit?" And I'm just like, the music is not, y'all, the music was not loud. Like, huh? Even if it was, you can't really hear us. It's not that bad. Like, you cannot hear us for real. So I'm just like, okay, I would turn it down. He's like peeking, trying to see what's going on, who's in it. He sees my friends, and he's just like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing. We just having a girls time. So yeah, go ahead and tell your sister down. We're gonna turn it down. We're gonna keep it low." So I close the door and he leaves, right? So I come back and I get to tell my friend, "Girl, that is my crazy neighbor that I told you about. Like, he's so weird." Just talking shit. 5 minutes later, another knock on the door. Another one. So I go back to the door. I'm just like, oh my god, I already knew it was this ass. I'm like, oh my god, like, this time the music is not even on. Like, we just playing cards. Like, what else you gotta say? What else you gotta say? What other lie do you have for me? So I open the door and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Oh, can I go through your balcony to, like, open my door because I locked myself out?" This man said he locked himself out his apartment. Huh? So I'm like, "How did you lock yourself out? I thought your sister was in there asleep, just like banging on the door so you could open." He's like, "No, she just went out. She went out with her friends, and I was trying to take the trash out. When I took the trash out and when I tried to open it, the door was locked." And I'm just like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, well, call her so she could come back and open the door. He was like, "I left my phone in the house." I'm like, oh my god. I was like, "Well, do you know her number? Because you could call it on my phone." He's like, "I don't know her number. Can I just try to cross over your balcony to get to my balcony and I could just, like, get in the house?" And I was like, "How do you know your balcony is open?" He's like, "Because I was out there smoking before I took the trash out and I left the door open." And I'm just like, this man think he's slick. My friends is like, "Oh my god, you lock yourself out? Oh, that is so sad. How are you gonna do that? Like, how are you gonna cross the balcony?" So just entertaining the mess. I'm just like, ugh, oh my god. Like, for some reason, everybody found this man so funny and entertaining. So I'm just like, oh my god, okay, well, you could try whatever. So I was like, "Come in, go straight to the balcony." So he comes in, goes to the balcony. Y'all, I will insert a clip. I was like, "So how are you gonna get from my balcony to yours? Because obviously you cannot, like, trying to put your leg over because it's like the distance is too far." And he's like, "Oh, I could walk through the pipe. I could, like, hold on to the pipe and just, like, cross over." And I'm looking like, huh? Like, that's impossible. So he's just standing on my balcony, just trying to fake analyze and do math, trying to figure out how he's about to cross his balcony. So while he's standing there, he looks at my friend, proceeds on with flirting with my friend. He's just like, "Oh, what's your name? I never seen you before. You really pretty. What do you do?" And I'm just like, ain't you supposed to be trying to figure out how to skip the damn shit so you could go home? Like, what are you doing over here talking to my friend trying to, huh? You is not slick. Because at this point, like, when he did that, I figured out, I was like, oh, so he fake locked himself just so he could come in my house and talk to my friends because he was trying to come flirt. So he proceeds to, like, like climb over the balcony. Yo, I'm literally gonna insert a video here of him like trying to climb over the balcony. Oh my god.
Oh, that shit unstable.
Come back up. Come back up.
This shit like crack.
Come back up.
You gotta just call the people.
Like stand on it so he could jump over to his balcony. I was like, oh my god, do not do that because you're gonna fall and break your legs and it's gonna be on me because you're jumping from my apartment. Da, da, da. So I'm like, you don't lost your mask. I'm like, get back up, get back up. So he gets up and I'm like, well, I don't know what you're about to do because you obviously cannot jump over. It's no way that you can get from my balcony to yours. So you have to go. He's like, oh well, can I just hang out with you guys here and just until my sister come home and I could go back and just get back in the house. My friends were just real entertained with him, so they wanted to just sit here and just have a laugh at him. So I'm just like, well, you can sit right here. And he just started like rapping for us and just doing all this talking nonsense. I'm not gonna lie, he was entertaining us. So it's like I let him stay. He was low-key really trying to talk to my friend, so he just kept trying to like, you know, make her laugh or just talk to her and like flirt with her, and she just like, okay. He started just like harassing my friends for their fucking Instagram. He's just like, let me follow you guys on Instagram, let me follow you guys on Instagram. And I'm just like, you guys do not give this man your Instagram, like literally do not. So like after that, he just like, okay, well, I'm gonna go downstairs to like the janitor office or whatever and see if he has like a ladder and I could just use the ladder to just climb up my balcony. And before he left, he got my friend's Instagram and he's just like, oh, follow me back, okay, I'm gonna DM you, follow me back. And she's just like, okay, I will follow you back. So I closed the door, right? So I looked through the peephole. Tell me why this man did not go downstairs. He went straight in his apartment. Literally in the apartment that was not locked this whole time. I already knew. I was like, this man literally just lied to come over here to talk to you, like, because he's seen y'all in here. He's literally crazy. So as soon as he got home, he DM'd my friend. He started like watching my friend's story, DMing her or whatever. He was like, because we were like posting like stories of him, like all the dumb shit he was doing. Like we were just dying. And he started DMing her. He was like, oh, follow me back. Let me take you on a date and all this shit. And I was like, girl, you better block him before he starts stalking you. Like literally block this man. But yeah, that was the last time I seen him, interacted with him. I blocked his number after that. I told my friend, I was like, block him on Instagram because he's literally gonna stalk you. I believe that he moved out like probably like a month after that. I don't know what happened. He just disappeared and I seen like the people clean out his apartment. I could finally be at peace. Now I have another neighbor that lives there. It's a girl and nobody really talks to each other. Everybody's minding business. So yeah, that was pretty much it for the story time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more story time, make sure you guys share, thumbs up, and comment down below, and also subscribe if you're new, and I will make sure to come back with more story times. See you guys in my next one.
Hit me with all of that melanin, hocus pocus, baby.